Aloha from beautiful Point Dume in Malibu. We've just arrived back on the West Coast from Florida after completing our 7-day immersion with Elliot Hulse and Krisanna Locke in Neo-Reiki and bioenergetic grounding and OSHO active meditations. This also completes my social media fast. It's so good to see you again. I feel as if I have lived lifetimes in the past week. And I mean that. I don't know how else to express it. If you're familiar with the idea of time dilation, which you should be by now, I talk about flow states, and in Mystic Misfit we talk about flow states and time dilation. And this is basically the perception of time either greatly expanding or even contracting perceptually. And wow, spending hours a day in deep breath work and sound healing and active meditation, very physical meditations, and silent sitting. A lot of silence, a lot of ritual space. In this time, I felt my body transforming, for one. I felt like the energy of my mental world and my bioelectricity was all coming back into and moving in my body. And the experiences were unlike anything I've ever experienced. They were extremely potent, visionary, shamanic. I entered many ecstatic trance states with my nervous system and training with this beautiful music that meditators with OSHO have created. And studying under a true teacher. Thank you so much, Krisanna, for all of your space holding and your guidance, because you allowed the group to go so deep. And of course, thank you, Elliot. Thank you, brother, Shambhala Warrior King, for calling the Knights to Florida to complete this. I've been waking up with the sun all week, transforming with nature, going so deeply into breath, into sound, and into silence. And I'm still integrating, I'm still in it. Meditating on the flight today from Florida and landing at LAX, feeling the very gentle and soft reintegration with the fast pace of the West Coast. After being on the beautiful Westgate River Ranch in Florida with the longhorns and the great crows and hawks out there in nature, those old ancient trees hung with Spanish moss, served as our meditation, served as our sacred space while we went through this insanely intense process. And the work has just begun. For me, this work is so needed in the world and needed in my life. And I feel excited to share it and to activate even more and go deeper into this work. And so for me, this was answering a calling that began last year for me in India. Shout out to Guru Mukh, Parvinji, and Siddhi Yoga, where I was first introduced to OSHO active meditation. Despite having done ecstatic dance, I know many of you may be ecstatic dancers. I love you, Mark. You're my warrior brother. If any of the Shambhala warriors are on this live, give me a shout out. I love you guys so much, and I already miss you greatly. Our brothers and sisters in this work, we held a lot of space for each other. To give you an idea, basically the idea is sitting and watching the mind. If you're on social media in a cubicle or in the modern world all day long, may not be the most beneficial thing, at least not the only thing. Also, we need catharsis and release from stagnant emotional patterns and energy that live in the body. And you may be hearing that, like when I first heard it, and be like, what are you talking about? I'm open with my emotions, I talk about them, I share with my partner. I can move them with my mind. I do yoga, I eat well. Let's just say that there are so many layers to the unconscious, and the work of activating that energy and calling the unconscious up and out into the world safely, where you can embody it and move it. This is the work. This is that neo-Reichian work, transcending psychoanalysis and talk therapy. This is the OSHO active meditation, drawing from wisdom traditions like the Sufis, the Zen, drawing from Tantra and yoga, and synergizing these works in a unique way for the modern. These are the conceptual ways to talk about what we've been experiencing. And this is very radical work, very intense work. The bioenergetics and tantric energetics we experience, the partner work, the group dynamics, committing to multiple meditations as a tribe a day, intense meditations drenched with sweat, drenched with tears, with anger, with loneliness, with joy, with expression. All these things synergizing together, leaving them on the field of the shala and coming together to release these things. And then doing the eye connection work, the dance work, the nonverbal work, partner work, expressing emotional patterns that lie dormant in the body, these issues in the tissues that we all experience as children, as lovers, as sons, as daughters, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. I feel like I've been so deep in the human experience this past week that I have a whole new perspective, and I can see it. I can feel it. I feel like a new man. I feel complete in my expression. It's good to be back on Facebook. If you've been wondering where I am or I haven't answered your message, now you know why. The emojis can't describe it, CK, we know. I love you, brother. It feels good to be back. I feel renewed. Social media fasting, much like fasting from calories, could be the most healthy thing you could do in this day and age. And I've been doing it often, but this has been the most intentional and strict fast for me. And yeah, I feel like I left the digital trance and felt renewed. I feel renewed to interface with this technology and share with you. This is Point Doom, by the way. This is a beautiful spot up in Malibu. And this is where we'll be hosting Misfit Christmas. So December 16th, if you want to join Mystic Misfit for the most epic Christmas party that may has ever been seen in Malibu, reach out to me, go through Mystic Misfit, grab your ticket now. That's what we're doing today. We'll be filming some content, exploring the space, grounding in the energy here, getting the lay of the land. And it's such a great place to decompress and to be present and return to the West Coast to continue the work in this harvest season as we are in fall in November. My final word and piece in this immersion report is follow the joyful energy, but don't shy away from the shadow at the same time. This has been my learning. Go into joy. What do you enjoy? Is it dancing? Is it singing? Is it moving your body in a sexy way? Is it acting like a child? Is it punching a punching bag? Is it doing yoga? Is it talking with your friends over espresso? Whatever it is, do it with full joy and in a natural way. And this is where that secret of like childlike jubilance is the word that bubbled up. Childlike expression without all of the repressions and don'ts and second guesses and hesitancies. These things leave when you follow the fast energy of joy. At the same time, if you feel depressed, if you feel sad, if you want to cry, if you want to scream into a pillow, if you feel heaviness in your body, don't run away from that either. They're two sides of the same coin. And when you express both, you can transcend both. Satnam, Satnam, I love you. Mahalo for tuning in. I'll see you very soon.